Hello, everyone. My name is Brandon Griffin. I'm a scholar of management and leadership, and tonight I wanted to talk about organizational behavior. Now, you've probably heard of organizational behavior, but let's talk about what it is, where it came from, and why it is actually important to study in a business and how it can be applicable to you as a manager or as a student. So, in any organization, you're going to have a wide variety of departments. You're probably going to have marketing, accounting and finance, operations, IT, logistics, and each one of these is important. Marketers are trying to capture value and to drive profit. Accounting and finance is making sure that an organization has money and the money is accounted for and that they can go and fund future investments. And operations is important because the business actually has to get the product out the door and has to create the product. And the reason why organizational behavior is so important is because each one of these departments are built of individuals. So in any department, accounting, marketing, operations, you have individuals who make up that department. So in any organization, you're going to have individuals, you're going to have groups, you're going to have departments, and you're going to have the organization as a whole. So organizational behavior is the study of individuals, groups, and the organization as a whole to figure out how to make the organization more effective and to help the company achieve its goals. Now, a lot of people are drawn to organizational behavior because of the human aspect, and it truly is interdisciplinary. And what I mean by that is that when we study and when we talk about organizational behavior, we are drawn to a couple different fields. Organizational behavior comes from psychology, sociology, social psychology, anthropology, communications, and some other ones are frequently pulled in. But it's this entanglement, it is this interconnection of all these different fields that help us learn about human behavior in organizations. So let's talk about each one of these different levels, first starting at the individual level. So at the individual level, organizational behavior examines the characteristics that make employees unique. So we're all unique, male and female, black and white. We have a wide variety of personality traits, beliefs, values, and demographics. And in an organization, people are going to work differently. People are going to operate differently. So in an organization, as a manager, you're going to have to be aware of your employees' attitudes and their job satisfaction. You're going to have to be aware of their emotions and moods. You're going to have to be aware of their personality and their values. You're going to have to be aware of what motivates them and what type of motivation they have. And also, you're going to have to examine what type of job performance they have. Now, when we are talking about organizational behavior, we typically break down work behaviors at the individual level into three specific types. The first one is what's called task performance, and that is you physically completing your assigned job. So if you're a cashier at a restaurant, let's say McDonald's, your assigned job is to take people's orders and to give correct change. If you do that every single day, you are completing your core job requirements. That is your task performance. The second one is organizational citizenship behaviors. So if you think about being a good citizen in maybe your country or in your community, that is going out and serving others. The same is true of organizational citizenship behavior at the individual level. That is where you go above and beyond to either help other people or to help the organization as a whole by doing things that aren't explicitly required in your job function. So that's where you go above and beyond to help others. And the third type is a negative type, and that is counterproductive work behaviors. Counterproductive work behaviors are anything that harms or doesn't help the organization achieve its goals. So just like what it sounds, counterproductive, it's anything that is counterproductive to trying to help the organization achieve its goals. Now, the individual level of organizational behavior study draws a lot on psychology because a lot of the research that is done there is focused on the individual. So that is emotions, moods, personality, and it is really fascinating to see how there are a wide variety of individuals that impact an organization. Now, when we are working with a wide variety of people, when we're working with multiple people, this is a group. Group work is very common. It is increasingly common. And we're even getting to the point where We have entire companies that work remote. So we even have these remote working teams. So when we start studying groups and teams in organizational behavior, what we're trying to do is we're trying to help teams be better. We're trying to have them have better communication. We get introduced to leadership that impacts these groups as a whole. And we also get introduced to some other topics. So we get introduced to power, politics, and conflict. And in any group, you're going to have a diverse range of people. You're going to have surface level characteristics. So that's your age, race, gender, your ethnicity. And you're also going to have, at the deeper level, you're going to have their personality. You're going to have their values. You're going to have their work preferences. So when you first walk into a group, when you first meet a group, you're going to be able to physically see their, biological characteristics. But at the deeper level, it'll take time to learn their personality or their values or their work preferences. So the study of organizational behavior at the group level is figuring out how we can take this collection of individuals who make up a group to improve and increase organizational effectiveness. Now, my dissertation actually is focused on servant leadership and groups and how servant leaders can actually increase the motivation of individuals within that group. And what I found is actually really interesting. So servant leaders attempt to put people above themselves. They just attempt to serve others. So what we learn when we study organizational behavior in groups is that leaders and that other people within the organization can actually have a huge impact on the group as a whole or individuals within those groups. And when we think about the organization, from the leader to the individual employees to the groups, this is where we get introduced to the entire organization as a whole. So at the bottom, we have individual employees, and individual employees make up groups, and we have a wide variety of groups that make up organizations. At the top of the organization, you have the CEO. At the bottom of the organization, you have your cashier at McDonald's. You have the people who are actually doing the work day to day. And when we study the organization, we are studying a couple different things. We're studying the organizational structure. So that is how the organization is laid out, maybe the hierarchical chart. We are studying how people communicate within the organization. We're studying kind of how the organization is laid out. We're studying culture. So those are the shared values and norms that define an organization and that influence behavior. So every country, every family, every community is going to have a culture. And every organization is going to have a culture as well. And the study of organizational behavior is going to talk about that culture. It's going to talk about how to change the culture, how to make the culture better. And it's also going to talk about how to change the organization through organizational change and development. So that is trying to do things that will help the organization adapt in the long term to keep their success. And along with that, we are able to study and employ a sister field of organizational behavior, human resources. So that is talking about recruitment, performance management, other HR practices where we are trying to support individuals who make up the entire organization. Now, one thing that is important to know, as we were talking about organizational behavior at these three different levels, they are not independent. They are interdependent. An individual is going to impact the group. The group can impact an organization and vice versa. An organization is going to impact the group. The group is going to impact an individual. A leader can impact the group. A leader can impact the individual. So there are these complex relationships within an organization that are multi-level relationships. So by studying organizational behavior, leaders can improve the effectiveness and even the profitability of an organization. And why is that? It is because people make up an organization, and studies has showed that when followers are happy, when the job reflects the personalities of their employees, they can be more efficient. When groups are more cohesive, they can be more productive and they will achieve more, and hopefully they will be able to reduce expenses and they will be able to produce more income, produce more profit, produce more revenue. That's the word I'm looking for. Produce more revenue for the organization. So it may seem silly sometimes to some people to think about the study of individuals within groups. A lot of people want to focus on the disciplines of marketing and accounting and finance. Those are all great. Those are all important. But it is important to study organizational behavior so you can learn the human side of business, because organizations only get things done through people. Management is the art of getting things done through people. Leadership is about influencing and motivating people to get work done. So the better you can understand individuals, groups, and organizations through the lens of organizational behavior, the better you will be able to help your people grow and work and be more productive. So what can you do as a manager to help implement some of the lessons we have learned in organizational behavior? There are a lot of great outlets you can look at. There are a lot of great videos. I'm going to try to put out some more videos, but really it's important to know that in any organization, you're going to have the people that you work with. So make sure that you be aware of people's personalities. Make sure you be aware of people who may be more introverted, people who may be more extroverted, people who are okay with autonomy, people who are okay with being empowered to make their decisions, and other people who maybe have a greater need for structure. And at the group level, you also need to be aware of your group. You need to be aware of the dynamics within the group. You need to see if there are any subgroups that make up your group. You need to be able to tell the level of cohesiveness within your group members. And if you can increase cohesion, if you can make it a psychologically safe environment, if you can make it an environment where people are okay to take risks, they will take risks and they will be more productive, or they will be more creative. And hopefully that will lead to greater amounts of productivity. And if you think about what you can do at an organizational level, try to assess the culture of your organization. What type of culture is it? Is it something that is focused entirely outside your organization who's just trying to make money? Is it something that's focused more on the people? Is it a fun environment? Is it a fast-paced environment? You need to take an internal audit of what your culture is. Try to get data from the people within your organization. Reach out to them, send out surveys, see what they like, see what they don't like, and try to examine the relationships between these levels as well. So to recap, what is organizational behavior? Organizational behavior is the study of individuals, groups, and organizational culture and structure to figure out how to increase organizational effectiveness. So I love the study of organizational behavior. I think it's fascinating. I feel like I can dive into a lot of different things because it is interdisciplinary. Follow along, subscribe to my channel. I hope to make more of these videos. I hope to just lecture to increase the value that I can provide. If you look back at my channel, I tried to make videos that were kind of like movies. You'd watch them and they were these really beautiful PowerPoint presentations and they looked good, but they took a lot of time to make and I felt like I was kind of restricted. So with this new format that I'm just trying to communicate cool information. You can see I have my light back there. I'm not even hiding it. I'm wearing a t-shirt. I'm just trying to communicate things that I'm learning. I'm trying to disseminate this information to help managers and people be more successful and apply some of these tools in their organization. So this is kind of a high, broad view of what organizational behavior is. Follow along as we examine how you as a manager, how you and your organization, how you as an employee can help have your job be more meaningful, how you can increase organizational effectiveness, and how you can hopefully be a better employee and live a happier life. You have a great day and happy learning.